Air Force versus Navy. By the numbers, this one should be a no-brainer, except recent events, for example, injuries to quarterbacks, have made this one a bit more thought-worthy. Now, for full disclosure, I'll let you see what I'm wearing here, and I'll try to be as fair as possible with eliminate any bias that I can. But in any case, the Service Academy game is like brother against brother, except for in the case of Air Force, they're always from the handsome side of the family, and Army and Navy maybe from the more Rubenesque side of the family. But that being said, it's the kind of game where you would like both teams to win. You absolutely admire the players on both sides of the ball. And these guys are going to be standing in the gap for us in the future. So my hat's off to them for that, and I admire each and every one of them. But let's get into this. All right, if you take a look at the schedules, you'll see that Air Force is 6-0, and Navy has lost 3 games. They were in all of them except for the Notre Dame game, but that was right out of the gate, so they were still testing themselves out. And Notre Dame is a worthy opponent. If you take a look at the numbers by passing, Air Force, or their total offense ranking is number 55, whereas Navy is down there at 103, and that's in total offense. In third down efficiency, Air Force has a good 59%, but 31% on Navy's side is actually passable. The fourth down efficiency, Air Force is at 73%, and fourth down efficiency for Navy is at 58%. Now, Air Force runs a lot of fourth down plays. You'll see that they're the #1 rushing offense in the nation, and they look at fourth down as just another down. Navy is somewhat similar to that. Now, in terms of passing, if it weren't for the absolute bottom tier, there would never be a top tier to compare them to. Air Force is ranked 126th in the nation. That's dead last. Navy surpasses that. No, it doesn't surpass the dead last, not in a bad way, but in a good way. Navy is ranked 125th in the nation in passing. But that's kind of obscure. It obscures Air Force's 16.71 yards per attempt. They don't pass often, but when they do, it's a big bite out of the apple. Whereas Navy is at 7.36. When Air Force completes a pass, which is 71% likely to happen, they gain 23.4 yards. Navy well beyond first down range at 15.28. Neither team has thrown a pick, and neither team can be faulted for giving up their quarterback to sacks. You'll see that Air Force's efficiency in passing is at 71%, but throw that number out the window because Larrier, the starting Air Force quarterback, is not playing. And when I checked the statistics for the last 4 seasons, there's a total of 3 passes attempted by the backup quarterbacks. It's rushing where both teams excel. Air Force is ranked #1 in the nation, and that's by at least 100 yards or 75 yards a game. So it's not a barely #1, it's a #1, and nobody's going to catch them if they didn't rush another yard for the rest of the year. Navy is respectable at #5. In terms of rushing yards per game, Air Force averages 334, about 100 more than Navy at 236 yards a game. Per attempt, 5.62 yards for the Air Force and respectable 4.91 for Navy. Both of them are outstanding. And for as much rushing as those teams do, they protect the ball. Air Force has only lost 4 fumbles. They lost 2 on successive plays against Wyoming, and Navy only 3, for a rate of 1 fumble per 89 for Air Force and a slightly better 1 fumble per 96 attempts for Navy. If you look at the special teams, kickoff and punt returns are negligible. Neither team really excels in that. No team really excels in that in the NCAA, given the changes in the kickoff return rules a few years ago. And in terms of punts, more and more the punters are getting good enough to where nobody returns a punt. If you look at field goal percentage, though, there's a huge difference between the two teams. Air Force is currently at 100% 6 for 6 field goals, whereas Navy is just as likely to hit it as not. So that's a big differentiator between the two. And if you look at defense by the numbers, yards against per game, Air Force only gives up 240. That gives them a national rank of number 3 in terms of yards given up. Navy, 375, they're ranked 69th in the nation. In terms of pass, Air Force is ranked 6th in the nation. Navy is ranked 71st. Not that I don't expect that to come into play very much. And in points allowed per game, Air Force at a stingy 15, Navy at 23. Other interesting statistics, the passer rating, and this is Larrier, this isn't Jensen Jones who's going to start for Air Force, has a rating of 259, and who knows who's going to start for Navy, but their top passer is 139. If you look at the Football Power Index ranking and ESPN, Air Force is ranked number 47, Navy towards the end at 106. The away game record, since this will be a away game for Air Force, is 1-0. Home game record for Navy is 2-2, so they're at 50%. Neither team boasts much in terms of outlaws, as Air Force only has a stingy 3 penalties per game, and Navy is right there. Good discipline, 5 penalties per game. So in summary, who knows what the quarterback situation is going to be like for both teams. So who knows who's going to have an advantage, disadvantage, or whatever in terms of quarterbacks. Run offense, though. Air Force is number 1 in the nation in rushing versus the number 71 Navy rushing defense. Now, the number 2 quarterback, Jensen Jones, is a hoss when he runs the ball, if he can hold on to it. He's at roughly 6'2" and 215 pounds, and he is fast. Run defense, the NCAA number 6 rushing defense versus Navy, like we said, is the number 71 rushing defense. So I think Air Force has the edge in terms of overall rush defense. Pass offense is a bit of a question mark there, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to Air Force because of the lightning strike capability. They run, they run, they run, they run, and then they hit a pass. And there's a reason why they're ranked number 126 in rushing or in passing, and that is because they run all the time. So when they pass, everybody is shocked, including the fans, including probably most of the team. In terms of special teams, 100% field goal efficiency, you can't beat that. If this game comes down to a field goal for either team, I would give Air Force the advantage because Air Force is likely to hit it. Navy, 50% hit or miss. Location definitely goes to Navy. It's a home game for them. Air Force has not been tested much on the road, so there's no way of telling how they're going to react. And that leads me into the situation when I was a cadet at the Air Force Academy. Up till 1975-1976 time frame, the Navy versus Air Force series was won by the home team every single time. At least that's what they told us when I was a freshman, and of course we believed the upperclassmen because they were always right. If you look at the Vegas line, now I don't think it considers the fact that either quarterback is out. Air Force is a 2+ score favorite for this one, and ESPN has them at greater than 80% chance of winning. Here's my prediction though. It's brother against brother. They're looking at their mirror reflection on the other side of the line. Both teams will be up for this game. Both teams will give it their best, although I think Navy tends to give a bit better when they play Army, so it's probably fortunate for Air Force that we're not Army. In a lot of ways, it's fortunate. And I think it'll be a 1-touchdown game, possibly. If Jensen Jones proves to be a decent quarterback, then this will be a blowout. Air Force will score 4 or 5 touchdowns, maybe a couple of field goals, but I don't expect that. I don't expect it at all. If the ball gets put on the ground, Navy can recover. Navy could win this game. Thumbs up. And it helps me and it helps my family if you subscribe to this channel. Good luck to both teams.